and good evening or good morning. It depends on where you are right now. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about progress curve in project control and specifically inside Power BI because there are so many benefits for why we should use Power BI to develop our progress curve. Progress curve is an effective uh, monitoring tool, but yet it's more complicated because there is a lot going on here. We have the planned work, we have the actual work. It's not only that, we wanted to show that on weekly basis, and that's why it's more complicated. Um, we need to show that throughout the project life cycle. We want to make sure that the configuration is set up properly and our calculations are processed accurately as well. Um, so let's go to Power BI. Okay, so typically for progress curve, we develop it based on both cost and the man hours. So that one is based on man hour, and we have it as per cost as well. It's they are both exactly the same, but one of them is based on cost and the other is based on man hours. Of course, there are many reasons why we should use both metrics, but we are gonna save that for a later session because it's a quite large topic. And I'm gonna maybe go over one of them and explain it in detail because the other one is exactly the same. So I'm not gonna repeat the same information over and over again, right? If we look at a progress curve, typically we have the planned work. In my case, I showed it in green. The dark green is early planned percentage. The light green is or represents the planned work as per late distribution. So we have early and late planned percentage. We should use both, right? Because sometimes you are in delay against the early distribution, but you did not violate the late planned. I show also the actual progress in yellow. Here I have the yellow bars, and I have done some work until this point in my project so far. If I scroll all way until the end, I can see the whole project duration. But I don't have actual beyond this point so far. Okay, so that's a lot of information, and most of the time planning engineers show this progress curve only. It's a static reporting, and I am totally against the static reports for many reasons. You can go to my website, check the blog post. I have written a whole blog article about why we should avoid static reporting. Because in many cases, I'm gonna develop the progress curve the way you see it right now, and I'm gonna include it in my report, and it's something you have to live with it. So you don't have the flexibility. You cannot analyze the progress. You cannot identify the root cause of delay. That's really static because you know there is a delay maybe in this area, but you have to do a lot more work to identify the root cause of delay, which is not a good practice. So many planning engineers just use the static reporting. They prepare the report, they do good job in developing the progress curve, but it is something that you have to live with, with all the information, the limited information you see in front of you. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the comments section, and I'm gonna answer all questions after I finish my demonstration. And maybe you can also say hi in the comments, so maybe you can let others know about you, maybe introduce yourself, and we will come back to the chat and answering the question at the end. Okay, and in many cases, it's too much information to look at here. Yes, it's helpful, but I wanna really dive deep in the project. I wanna analyze the actual part, which makes sense to see where I am in the most recent week and the previous weeks as well. It makes a lot more sense. So I'm gonna grab a slider and customize the start and the finish. It's exactly the same information, but I zoomed in. So I can see, the exact percentages and the progress, and compare it with actual. And that's because typically, in many cases, many planning engineers will present the variance percentage as per the most recent week. For example, I have just finished my schedule update and I have 1% variance, and that's it. But we have to look at the past. It's equally important because in my case here, you can see that in this week alone, I achieved less than planned. I achieved less than both early and late planned percentage. Similarly, I did that for the week before and the week before. So it's really alarming. It's you should not really look at variance percentage only. You want to see where the problem comes from. So you have bigger problem here, and that's why we need a progress curve, because we can see the trend, we can see the historic information is stored right in front of us, which is something that you cannot readily achieve inside Primavera or any other scheduling software. Okay, so I want to look at the historic information. And maybe I am not interested in the whole project. Maybe I'm interested in the concrete part only because that's my major activity right now. So with one click, I see the progress curve for concrete. So I'm not gonna focus on the overall project right now, although it's a good place to start from. Right now I'm gonna look at concrete. I repeat the same information and same process. Okay, when I clicked on concrete, you can see the indicators updated for me. It's a hyper interactive report, and with one click, I get planned versus actual. Again, I can see the variance where I am right now, but it's equally important to look at the past as well. So these percentages are for concrete only. So I have here 3% of concrete, for example, 2% of concrete. Everything is for concrete. I can go back to the data date menu and, maybe if I want to see, if you can see, like the week before, I had lower variance, which means like higher delay because it's a negative. It means that I'm doing well here. Like I did some good work because in 1 week period, I reduced the variance. Yes, I'm still in delay, but I'm doing a better job relatively. Again, amazing insights. You cannot effectively achieve all of that inside Excel if you are using one. That's why we need data analytics. And we can also, but let me talk a little bit about the process, because yes, you know that the progress curve is amazing and it's helpful, but how can you do one inside Power BI? You have all information you need inside Primavera, by the way. You can see the planned distributions if you go to resources assignments, or if you are using Microsoft Project. I'm gonna refer to Primavera just to make it easy for easy reference, but you can apply the same concept in any other scheduling software. They both share a lot of similarities. So inside Primavera, you go to resources assignments and you can get the planned distribution early and late for each activity. Typically, we have classifications for all these activities. Like we have a group of activities that are coded for concrete, group of activities for column and reinforcement, for floor 4. You got the point, right? So we have different classifications. You can use activity codes, for example. And we have also the actual progress in every schedule update. We also need cumulative, because I have shown you so far the weekly progress, planned and actual. But we have, it's a good practice to show the cumulative as well. And I can see the line, that's a cumulative. Again, you can get it from Primavera. And I see this mistake all the time. Planning engineers make this mistake like all the time. They create a DAX and try to write a formula for cumulative. Why would you do that? It's repetitive work. It's unnecessary work. It increases the friction. It does not improve the system efficiency. What you have the cumulative values inside Primavera. You can show from the resources assignments, you can show the cumulative values as well. So you have everything you need inside Primavera. Well, the next step is to capture the data and go to Power BI and choose a visualization. Let's go to the visualization part. I'm gonna really take some time here in the progress curve, because in my opinion, it is one of the most complicated visualization in planning. Regardless of you decided to show it in Excel or Power BI, it is still a complicated visualization. So you can, so if I click on the progress curve, so I choose this chart, line and clustered column chart. I show the data date on my x-axis here. And I put all metrics, like the planned percentage on weekly, like weekly allocations, and the cumulative as well. But here's something, very tricky. I'm gonna give you like very nice tip, okay? Because you can try to do that on your own, but you're gonna stuck there forever, and you will wonder why it doesn't work the way you want to. If you go to format, okay, x-axis, by default, because these are dates, okay, so by default, Power BI will try to make it easier for you, so they will format the timeline. So they will not show you the dates. They will show you maybe a quarter, like they will summarize the information to show quarter or annual or monthly allocations, but it is not what you want. If you do your if you do your update on weekly basis, you want to show the progress curve on weekly basis as well. So by default, if you try to do that for the first time, you will not see the dates, because by default Power BI is trying to help you, but it is not so helpful by default in this case, because as a progress curve you want to show the dates, the weekly allocations. So what you're gonna do is as simple as that. You're gonna go to type, under x-axis, type, and make it categorical. By default, it will always return a continuous value, but you do not want to do that. You would choose categorical, which means you tell Power BI, I'm gonna keep my date formatting, and just ignore your formatting. Don't try to help me out. I just want to see dates as values, and the corresponding information or data, like planned progress or actual progress. So that's what you are trying to tell Power BI. Just give me the dates the way they are, the way I developed them, which match my schedule update data dates, and show me the corresponding values. And that's it. That's as simple as possible. All right. And you can customize this area. It's only a demo. You can show budgeted total cost. You can show earned value labor units. You can show whatever you want. Okay, it's only a demo, and it takes seconds to update what you want, because it's one model. The whole data is talking to each other. My baseline module is talking to the schedule update, and it is talking also to the resources assignments. my activity codes, like everything is talking to each other. So I don't have right now multiple Excel files. I don't have multiple XCR files. It's one model. As you see, I could gain insights with one click. I did not import XCR files. I did not browse the progress reports on my PC to find the information I want. Everything is stored in one place. But here is the cool part about progress curve. If you think about it, it's a process. After you finish your schedule update, you're gonna maybe go to the schedule update and they get the earned value and update the progress curve. Like, it's a process. It's the same steps if you think about it. It's a routine. So what if we can code the process? So I tell Power BI, after I finish the schedule update, capture the earned value and follow the process to update the progress curve. So for example, so what will happen is, let's assume that that's the next week. So I did not do the schedule update yet. Okay, that's why there is no actual, there is no yellow. And once I finish the schedule update inside Primavera or Microsoft Project or any other scheduling software, it takes less than 30 seconds to update everything inside Power BI. So I finish the schedule update and click refresh. Then the actual information or actual data will be populated inside the model, and it will be populated everywhere. It will update the progress curve immediately and automatically. If I go to progress metrics, for example, and like, let's assume that that's my new update. So there is no work, right? It's not updated yet. So I know that on this date, that's the planned work, which makes sense, right? So I can see the planned progress, but there is no actual because it's a future schedule update. So once I finish the schedule update, after I click refresh, everything will be populated inside the model. So it's gonna reflect everywhere, which is very, very efficient. So that's how you prepare the whole progress report in seconds, including the progress curve. And let's go over some of the questions. But so far, that's what I wanted to talk about. You don't have to create DAX formula for cumulative. It's unnecessary. It can cause problems, by the way. I have tried it in the past. When I started out and I had limited knowledge of Power BI at that time, creating a DAX formula for cumulative does not produce accurate information. If you don't believe me, and if you have been doing it, test it yourself. Like, test it manually. So maybe try to find a cumulative value on a data date and then do the process manually. That's how I was used to it before I trusted the system and I trusted the process. So that's how I was used to do it. And you can compare the results. It's there is a malfunction when you create a cumulative. So you can capture the cumulative values from Primavera. It's more reliable. It's readily available. Okay, hi, Salam, Akil. It's good to have you. Hello, Virgilo. It's good to have you as well. Hello, Arlich. Hello. Yeah, it's good afternoon, Emmanuel. It's good to have you. Hi, Saman. Can you share the template? Yeah, I typically have it. Maybe I can share it with uh, on a web, like on a web link, so it can be more convenient in this case. Hello, Abdullah. Hello, thank you, Joven. Wa alaikum assalam, Muhammad. It's good to have you. Yes, I can share it, Mala. I'm doing well. How are you, Muhammad? I hope you are doing well as well. Hello, Bano. Good to have you. Hello, Muhammad. Okay, let's answer some questions. So, what is the essential difference between early and late curve? It's the weekly allocations from Primavera. So, if you go to resources assignments, you can choose. So for example, if I have one activity that will require 5 masons every day, okay, so I have 5 days, okay, and I can see 5 masons allocated over 5 days period. But the 5 days, I have early dates for that activity and I have late dates as well. In the early dates case, I can see, for example, from 1st of June until 5th of June. Okay, so during this period, I can see 5 masons allocated. However, as per late dates, the late start is 10th of June, the late finish is 15th of June. So in this case, you will see 5 masons allocated, but from 10th to 15th. If you do that for all activities, you're going to come up with the early and the late curve. From Muhammad, how we will show the delayed activity inside Power BI, you know, you can, watch my content, my YouTube channel. I offer a lot of information about how to use Power BI for planning engineers because I think it's really amazing. And you can see the different visualizations that I use: progress metrics, planned versus actual, breakdown analysis, trend analysis, all of that. From Dalwosa, do you have a backlog stats? I don't understand the question. From Abdullah, can show the lead time for each bank? I don't understand the question. From Muhammad, in P6 we can highlight the delayed activities, but Power BI, how we will present in the sheet. Again, you can go back to my YouTube channel and you can see the, let me do it for you quickly, just to give you an idea. So for example, I have progress metrics and I can see the list of activities. I can highlight delays as well. That's a way more effective than Primavera. Primavera doesn't have these abilities. I can, with one click, choose concrete, for example. I can, with one click, go to any data date of my choice. Primavera does not allow you to do all of that in the same way. I can show plant versus. So you got the idea, right? So there are many visualizations that will allow you to do that. Okay, sure. I can share it from Akilish. So Maya, what would be the best series to learn Power BI as a beginner? First, you have to learn data analytics because this is what Power BI is based upon. Okay, like for example, if you want to use Primavera, if you don't know about CPM or earned value or total float, the software will be useless because Primavera is based on project control fundamentals. In a similar way, Power BI is based on data analytics, so you must know about data normalization, primary and different keys, cardinality, cross-filter direction, and all of that. So it starts with data analytics, and then find a way to capture the data from Primavera and process it inside Power BI. You can, have the tutorials, or you can find tutorials online if you want a comprehensive course from A to Z, specifically for planning engineers. You can check out my course, my Power BI course in project control. You can go to my website. The link is here to my website and join the waiting list. Uh, yes, sure. Yeah, sure, Muhammad. Hello, Ahmed. I'm not calling everyone, by his or her name. Sorry, but because we have a limited time, and I want to answer as many questions as possible because it's gonna add a lot of value to other people as well. But I appreciated everyone who said hi and participating in the comments section. Yeah, and hi, Alpha. It's good to have you. You are welcome, Scott. Thank you. So have we concluded from Joseph? Have we concluded the live discussions? We are answering the questions right now. From Akhilesh, would like to know if you have modeled the cash inflow and outflow, capture cost control systems as well. I know, I get many messages from many engineers who ask about that. So hopefully I'm gonna prepare a tutorial. I'm actually in the process of it right now, and I'm gonna share it very soon. From Amr, when can we expect the start of Power BI course? Registration is now closed. We open registration few times a year, 2 or 3 times, and you must join the waiting list so we can notify you when the registration is open. It's very, very important because we open registration for a few days. We invite those who joined the waiting list and start our next batch. The next batch will be in August. Yeah, sure, Muhammad, Askar. From Haytham, is there a source for learning Power BI? I answered that question about learning Power BI data analytics first, then try, to work your way through the process. It's a bit tricky, to be honest, for planning engineers because I have seen tutorials online. They're gonna give you some simple business project as a demo, but planning is really tricky. Remember, construction is very complicated. Projects are worth millions of dollars. There are many companies that develop and invest solutions worth millions of dollars to make sure that projects are on track. So it's really quite huge area. So basic Power BI skills might not get you the results you need. Okay. because we have data dates, we have weekly updates, we have many modules that are working together. I by the way, like I did not have a planning engineer who taught me Power BI because it's new. I taught myself. Actually, I went through the process by myself. I learned data analytics. I made many mistakes. It was really frustrating for me because I could not find the support I need when I needed something. So hopefully I have made it. You can make it too. And if you wanna maybe easier path, you can join our Power BI course. Yes, sure, we can do that, Samuel. From Samuel, is your Power BI training involved data analytic as well? Yes, definitely yes, because I guess it makes sense to do so. So the first part of the course will be about data analytics only. We will not touch Power BI. Like for example, I explain data, normalization, primary and foreign keys, etc. Then we jump to Power BI, because once you learn data analytics, Power BI will be so easy. Everything will fall into place. Mm. From Harry, is the template for free or for sale and how much? I'm gonna share the report link. You can see the whole report. You can perform interactive analysis the way I did, and it's for free. I'm not gonna charge anyone for that. From Alpha, I got a quick way to import P6 data in Power BI by using the report wizard and using this file. Yeah, I think it can work if you can customize the report or your import fields. Okay, and but if you want some, if you have some maybe inside calculations before you migrate to Power BI, I think it's going to be a challenge, because when you export the data to Excel, it's going to be a standalone file. So if you can find a way to make it easier to connect with the whole model right away, that's, of course, it can work. And when we say like it's going to be maybe easier than copy and paste, so how quick it is, like, if we are talking about seconds, so if you are comfortable with export, that's fine too. From Akhilesh, we appreciate and acknowledge your efforts in coming up with good dashboard. Evolution and refinement is a continuous process we develop over time. Thank you a lot for your kind words, and I totally believe in that. We should all contribute to making the world a better place. We need to innovate. We need to make our lives easier, right? Because I believe that projects are getting more complicated. Many countries, are want to, create larger and more complicated projects. So we cannot use the traditional method. We really have many problems in project control, and nobody is talking about it. We know there is a problem, but nobody is talking about it. But maybe we do not, because we don't have a solution, or maybe we don't have a way to overcome the challenges. But we know planning engineers don't add the expected value. We know that we have problems with our projects, more delays, more cost overrun, more disputes, and the court cases. We have many, many problems. But if we try to fix these issues, yeah, we can have more success in our projects, which is good for the economy and the whole world and the market. We can complete more projects in a year than we were supposed to do, right? So there are many benefits. It all starts with effective project control. From Muhammad, do you offer the Power BI in Arabic? No. From Hakim, what are the basic information we should know before we join Power BI course? It's a good question. You need to be a planning engineer who has planning engineers experience. In the course, I do not teach project control. I only teach how to automate your work and use Power BI. So if you are not familiar with CPM earned value, then the course is not for you. I have another course which is called Practical Project Control. It's for beginner to intermediate, and it's for both levels because it's one course, but it's huge. Like you can see the curriculum on my website. It's a huge course, the Practical Project Control. So it takes someone from zero, like no knowledge of Primavera, all the way until they prepare and submit a comprehensive, practical progress report. So the curriculum is huge. You can check it out, and if you look at the curriculum and you feel that you need help with this content, then go for this course first before you join Power BI course. But if you have been, working as a planning engineer for some time and you are confident about your knowledge, and if you can see the curriculum of the practical project control and you feel that you know this content, then Power BI course is right for you. All right. So okay. So if you have any questions, maybe you can send me to my email. But I don't want to take any longer. It was a quick live, and thank you all for your participation. And thank you all. Bye bye. And we will have another live, or maybe we will meet in another webinar.